Only receive motions for the election of the chair. The clerk cannot receive any other types of motions, cannot entertain points of order, nor participate in the debate. We can now proceed to the election of the chair. Pursuant to Standing Order 106-2, the chair must be a member of the government party. I am ready to receive motions for the chair.
So I'm now ready to receive any motions for the chair. Mr. Chan.
I nominate Ron McKinnon for chair.
Il est donc proposé par M. Paul Chan.
It has been moved.
Donc, il est donc proposé par M. Paul Chan.
So Mr. Paul Chang has moved that Mr. Ron McKinnon be named chair of the committee. Is it the will of the committee to adopt this motion? The motion has been carried. Mr. McKinnon is now chair of the committee.
Clerk, and thanks everyone for your support. I'd like to start by thanking the Honorable Jim Carr for his work to date, bringing us along. We've done some great work together, and I appreciate his efforts and shall take guidance from them, and I wish him well as he goes forward and deals with the health issues that he must face. I'd also like to note that Mr. Van Bynen will be joining us on an ongoing basis, so welcome, Tony. And the original plan from last week was that today we would have the Chief of the Defense Staff, but because of circumstances around the need to re-elect or to elect a new chair, that has fallen by the wayside. I understand that the Chief of Defense Staff will be available next Thursday, so I suggest that we will proceed on that basis. I also understand that the Minister and officials will be available on this coming Tuesday to to talk about C-21. And so we will continue on that basis. I understand that there is a draft work plan in process that the clerk and analysts are working on. And I hope to meet with the clerks and analysts early in the coming week, and we will distribute a work plan in due course. So is there any comment or input from the floor? Ms. Stanchel, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to wish you good congratulations on your new position. We look forward to working with you. The Conservative Caucus looks forward to working with you on these important issues we're pursuing, and you have our full confidence that you will do an excellent job, and we certainly extend your well wishes to Mr. Carr and thank him very sincerely for his dedication to public safety on this file for the last year, and hopefully his health improves. We're hoping the best for him. Colleagues, I'd like to move a motion. I think Pam is here, so, okay, I see her. It's not a contentious one. It is something that we've sort of talked about already, but it's just to get the ball moving. So I'll move it, and then I'll just talk briefly about it. So that pursuant to Standing Order 182, the committee begin the Saskatchewan mass murder study by holding a 2-hour meeting with officials, and that this meeting be held Friday, October 7th, 2022. So, colleagues, last week we had passed a motion and agreed. We just did not agree on the parameters, but there was some informal discussion, and I believe also discussion in committee, that we would at least, that there were openness to having at least the top officials come right away, and then perhaps picking up a more extensive study in the new year, just given that this is very much top of mind, and we all agreed certainly in principle that Canadians, I would think, would appreciate that the Public Safety and National Security Committee would show that certainly we're taking this matter very seriously, and at the very least, in short order, we could hear from top officials, both from government, but also corrections and parole. So that would, those top officials in particular, we would be looking to have them next week to just sort of get that sense from them what the issues were, why this happened, and how we can improve the public safety of Canadians. And then again, we had talked about perhaps having a more lengthy study and perhaps starting that in the new year or whatever the consensus is from committee. But Conservatives do feel that at the very least we should have one meeting immediately to review the situation on the ground and how we could be proceeding to prevent this from happening in future. So I hope that it is given your consideration and we can support it by consensus. Thank you, Clerk and Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Dancho. Ms. Demoff, please go ahead.
Thanks, Chair, and congratulations to you on taking the helm of this incredible committee. And so, Raquel, I'll tell you the concerns that I have on this. James Smith Cree First Nation is still hurting and hurting badly from what happened in their community. And while I think we need to hear from these officials, I think when we brought the motion forward originally, what I had suggested is that we hear from them once they've done their review, because at this point to hear from the parole board and CSC, our response is going to be, or their response is going to be, we're currently reviewing what happened. We will not be able to get any answers. So while I do recognize that this has been a horrible tragedy and one that the committee needs to look at, to rush to do this while the community is still dealing with the tragedy themselves, and also before we can get any kind of answers from the parole board or CSC, it doesn't make sense to move forward this Friday. So I'm hoping that you'll agree with that and would certainly work with you to have them come as soon as they have done their report, which is what we did when we studied Maryland and Levesque. We had both agencies come after they had done their reviews so we could question them on what they found. Right now, we're not going to get any answers.
Mr. McGregor.
Thank you, Mr. Moff. Mr. McGregor, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you very much. And before I begin, I also want to publicly state that I appreciated the Honorable Jim Carr's service to our committee. You've got some big shoes to fill, Mr. Chair, but I know you'll do it well. And I'd like to offer my congratulations on your election as chair. And on behalf of the New Democratic Caucus, me, myself, and I look forward to working with you with this committee. Now to the motion at hand. I too share Ms. Damoff's concerns about naming a specific date. I know that this committee has agreed to launch this study when we were meeting in camera 2 meetings ago, I believe. We did agree to that. But I think it might be more sensible if Ms. Dancho, Ms. Damoff, Ms. Michaud and I had an offline conversation to try and find out where we're at with this to find the best place to put it. I know committee officials are busy drafting a work plan for us, but I'm a bit hesitant to name a specific start date until this tragedy, which is still very raw in the community, has some time for some healing to happen. So I would echo those concerns. Nothing takes away from my intention to start this or to be fully committed to this study. I'm just a bit hesitant about naming a specific start date at present. Thank you.
Mr. Van Popta and as well, Madame Michaud.
Good. Thank you.
Mr. Van Popta, go ahead.
Yeah, good. Okay, good. Thank you. And Mr. McKinnon, congratulations on your appointment. I'm sure you're going to do a great job chairing this committee. We're all very cooperative, as you know. My regards to Mr. Carr as well. And I'd like to thank him for his service to this committee and wish him well going forward. I've heard several committee members say that, the pain is still fresh. And the hurt is still there, and that is used as an argument to delay the study. I would say exactly the opposite. Because people are so concerned, because people are hurting, and the healing has to start, the best way to do that is to get answers to questions. And people have a lot of questions about how did this happen? Why was this man released? There are some technical reasons why he was released, but I think that we should take the earliest opportunity to hear from the Parole Board and Corrections Services Canada to get answers to these questions that Canadians are rightfully asking, and they deserve answers. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Van Papta. Madame Michaud, allez-y, s'il vous plaît.
Merci.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and congratulations for your election. I'm very happy for you and also happy that we'll be able to continue working together. I also sent a message to Mr. Carr in person, and I thanked him for the work he did with us and wished him the best of luck for his situation. In terms of the motion, could we have a paper copy or a virtual copy? Because I'm not sure I understood clearly as to the date. You wanted it to start October 7th, but as far as the study in general goes, we agreed a few meetings ago, but I agree with what Pam said, given that the internal review has not been finished yet and it will be difficult to obtain answers from various organizations. And I don't know if the clerk could tell us about the schedule of our next few weeks, what we're doing with the study of Bill C-21, when we'll be able to start hearing witnesses, and where that would bring us in the calendar if we wanted to start that study as well. Thank you.
Merci, Madame Michaud.
Thank you, Madame Michaud.
That question, I mean, as said, we are expecting to be able to have the minister and officials next week on Tuesday to start the study on C-21. And of course, Thursday is at this point expected to be the Chief of the Defense Staff. The longer-term goal, the longer-term plan for the committee certainly will be largely taken up by C-21, which is our major priority at this moment. And certainly we did pass in the committee the resolution to do a study on the situation in James Smith Cree, the circumstances around that. Mr. Clerk, did you have anything further to add to that?
No, nothing at this point. Just so you know that we've worked with the analysts for our work plan since we've received all witness proposal for C-21 from you, the committee members, yesterday. So we'll be ready soon to propose a plan, a calendar for the upcoming weeks. In the meantime, I believe that Ms. Dancho requested to speak. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. So are there any other speakers on this motion? Ms. Dancho. I'm sorry, Ms. Dancho?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Clerk. I appreciate the feedback and certainly the sensitivity surrounding those suffering in James Bay. I do agree with my colleague Teiko. I think his point was very well made. I think we're open to the date. To answer Ms. Michaud, I said by the end of next week, so that first meeting would happen next week. And then if we wish, certainly Conservatives would like to see a robust study on this, that we can bring in lots of experts, understand how we can prevent this from happening in the future. I think that's quite important, and it seems like we all agree on that. My concern is sort of twofold. So one, if we wait for the internal inquiry to occur, which I believe would be the third inquiry of this kind in 2.5 years, but if we wait for that to happen, it could be quite some time. It could be well into next year. I think that's far too long. I would appreciate if committee members could agree perhaps that we ensure we at least have this first initial meeting within the next month, I think perhaps would be fair. But certainly we would like to see it next week. And one of the reasons as well, the public has not heard a robust response from the Parole Board or from Corrections Canada or from the governing officials on this. I think they have the right to hear those, particularly those opening statements. I think that the public would be well placed in being able to hear that, particularly those in James Cree First Nation Nation and Saskatchewan at large. I think that would only bring benefit to the conversation, and it would certainly show the public that we are taking this very seriously. We are acting quickly on this, and that will also provide us a little bit more time to get some great witnesses, academic experts and the like, to perhaps take it up in the new year or the rest of it starting in December. But I do think that there is some urgency that the public hears a robust response from these agencies that were tasked with keeping us safe and ultimately failed to do so.
Thank you, Ms. Dancho. Mr. McGregor, please.
And Mr. Shipley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. All very good points, Ms. Dancho, and I do agree with the sensitivity around this and the urgency. My preference at this time would be to allow the committee officials to present us with a work plan. Once I have that in hand and can see what they are proposing, I'd be more than happy to have a conversation with you about how we fit this in. At this time, I'm not ready to commit to a specific date next week, next month, or otherwise until I see that work plan. But I'm going to be very open to proposals from yourself and I'm sure Ms. Damoff, but I'd still like to see what committee officials have been working on before I commit anyway.
Thank you, Mr. McGregor. Are there any other? Ms. Damoff, please go ahead.
And Mr. Shipley afterwards.
I'm just going to agree with what Mr. McGregor said and reiterate that bringing the parole board, CSC, and others to the meeting prior to them actually looking to see what happened is not going to give ourselves or the country or the community any answers. So I think we need to, I can't support having a meeting next week. I don't think we could anyway, because we already have 2 meetings scheduled, but any kind of time frame. So maybe once we get the work plan, we can have a more robust discussion on how we fit this in. We also have legislation coming before us, which is important legislation. And so let's try and work together as we do so well to hear from people. But I think, you know, you could certainly get a commitment from me to hear from them immediately following the release of their report, but not before then.
Thank you, Mr. Damoff. Mr. Shipley, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And just very briefly, we just had a bit of a chat here too. And I understand that we've got a brand new chair today. We do have a lot of things coming up on our schedule, but I just wanted to reiterate that this was a very obvious, and I don't need to say this, but a very tragic and horrific incident that happened. And there was been a lot of words, a lot of thoughts and prayers given towards this. And it's nice to hear that everybody on this committee wants to take some action now and talk about it and see how we can resolve it. So I do feel the sooner the better, but in a good manner that we can do it properly. So I think I'll leave it over to our lead, because we did have mentioned that, yes, waiting perhaps for the work plan to do it properly would be good, but let's really not delay this. Let's get into this and show the people who've been affected by this that we are taking this serious and we're going to get some results for them.
Thank you, Mr. Shipley. Ms. Damoff, your hand is up, or is that residual?
It's a residual hand. My apologies, Chair.
Ms. Dancho.
Okay. Ms. Dancho, go.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think it sounds like we've reached a bit of a consensus. So I propose just formally that we, or informally, formally, that we get the work plan and that we commit as a committee to, at the next meeting, setting some time aside for committee business and seeing where we can fit this in before the holidays come, which seems far away, but it really will come very quickly, as we know. So if we can get just a general consensus that will agree to that. Once we get the work plan, our next meeting, we set aside some committee time and we hammer out a time that we can hear from these officials. That would be my proposal, or our proposal.
Thank you, Ms. Dancho. So at this point, we do have a motion on the floor. I think from what has been said that there is a will to withdraw that motion. Do we have unanimous consent to withdraw that motion at this time?
Mr. Chair. Would
Go
we
ahead.
be able to just get the, I would just, before we agree to withdraw it, can we just hear, like we would agree to withdraw if we agree in principle to what I've just proposed?
Very well. Is there anyone who wishes to speak to that question?
Ms. Michaud would like to speak.
Madame Michaud, allez-y, s'il vous plaît.
Merci, Monsieur. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I rather agree with what Ms. Dancho said. I think that once we have the work plan, we can decide where that can fit into our program. But I expect that the Bill C-21 study will be quite long. We have to hear a lot of witnesses and study some amendments. So even with the work plan, I think it'll be difficult to choose a specific date, but we could do that today and then decide on a date. If we agree on the plan of action, I agree.
Mr. Moff, please.
Thanks, Chair. Just a comment or question, I guess, for Ms. Dancho. You're suggesting that we cut short the minister's appearance on Tuesday to deal with committee business in the calendar, or would it make more sense to do it because we're hoping to have him here Tuesday on Bill C-21, which I think we all agree is a important piece of legislation, or perhaps the chair, our new chair, could schedule something on Thursday following the hour with the Chief of Defense Staff when he is, we're hoping he can appear on Thursday morning.
Thank you, Mr. Moff. Mr. McGregor, please.
Yeah, I'm not in favor of cutting any time from the minister and his officials. I think we all want to maximize our 2 hours there. Time is a valuable currency in parliamentary business, and once you spend it, you don't get it back. So the one thing I will commit to is having a conversation with the Conservative colleagues on this committee offline, seeing if we can arrive at a consensus so that when we do come to a committee meeting to decide on this, we're pretty much all aligned. So I'll commit to that to Ms. Dancho.
Thank you, Mr. McGregor. Any further comments?
Ms. Dancho.
Ms. Dancho?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for the comments from Ms. Damoff and Mr. McGregor and Ms. Michaud. I'm fine to have we always have great offline conversations and build a lot of consensus there and save us a lot of time. I would agree. Of course, we do not want to cut into Minister Mendicino's time at committee. It's very valuable. Certainly, I was more thinking we would attach another half an hour or 15 minutes on to the end of a committee. I know we've had resources do that in the past, but I'm again very open. I'm just not familiar when we're going to get the work plan. And in fact, we didn't get firm confirmation until just now from Ms. Damoff of what we were looking at next week. So perhaps the clerk can let us know when we can expect that work plan. What we can certainly commit to is meeting offline. But I would just like a consensus that we will get a date in there before the holidays, at the very least, preferably in the next month. But if we can just get that commitment from everyone that we will hear from these officials before the new year, at the very minimum, that would be acceptable for us to withdraw that motion.
Thank you, Ms. Dancho. I will be meeting with the clerk next week about the work plan. We will do our best to get it facilitated and distributed to the committee as soon as possible. In any event, do I take it we have unanimous consent to withdraw Ms. Dancho's motion? I'm seeing agreement, I believe, around the table.
Yes. It seems that
Yes.
way.
Okay. Yeah. So thank you, Ms. Dancho. We'll consider your motion withdrawn, and I understand that you will be meeting with the other leads on this matter, and we'll come up with a consensus. And we will do our best to, from the chair's perspective, with the clerk and analyst, to get that work plan out ASAP. Okay. Are there any other comments or questions or concerns?
Ms.
Dancho?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So can we just get confirmation that what next week is going to look like? Can you just walk us through what's been confirmed, please?
Well, as currently proposed, we will have the minister and officials on Tuesday for the full meeting. I don't believe the minister will be there for the full meeting, but that is pretty normal for starting on a new, looking at a new bill. And we have, I believe, confirmation of the Chief of Defense Staff for an hour for the following Thursday. That potentially leaves an hour at that time to discuss other things such as committee business of this sort. So does that work? Okay. Any further comments? Seeing none, I thank you all for your diligence and your hard work. And with that, we are adjourned.